What's up, everybody that's watching? We'll get started in a few seconds. Waiting on my boy Paul to come in. In the meantime, how is everybody? We finally got Paul coming in here.
Hey,
Paul,
what's up, my guy?
what's up, my guy? Doing?
Man, I can't call him. You been all right, though?
Man, I'm good, man. It's been a good Sunday so far.
Man, it's been pretty good for me too, man.
That's what's
Every
up.
day you
Watching the
living
football today?
above ground or something like that, it's a good Sunday.
That's right. You watched any football today?
You know what? I ain't catch up on no football today. I've been with these kids, man, and just trying to get some stuff done with them, man. So I don't even catch up on sports like I used to. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. Did they enjoy their Christmas?
Oh yeah, they really did. They really enjoyed it. They enjoyed it to the upteam. Spoiled,
That's
man.
what's up,
We
man.
they got a whole lot for Christmas, man. They really dug deep in our pockets.
Santa took care of them, right?
Uh-huh.
Are,
Uh-huh.
are they?
Shoot, man.
That's what-
Man, look, highway, you call it highway robbery. I feel
yes.
like this time, man, I feel like we just got robbed with no pistol.
They did not strong arm. The strong
Uh,
arm robbery.
they had their orders ready. They had their orders ready by the beginning of November. So we was just taking lists. We was just taking writing down everything they wanted. And every day it would be some new ad on TV talking about
Of course.
that would come out. They'd be like, Daddy, we want this. Then
Of
I had to
course.
write it down. So for 30 days, we was just writing down the names of stuff that they wanted, man. And man, I'm telling you, when I tell you that list was long, I said, you know what, we're gonna have to filter through some of this. You know,
uh, the PS5 wasn't on the list, was it?
man, you know what? I took a shot at it. I took a shot at it. I wanted it, man. I promise you, I really did. But as we know, man, that's like liquid gold. You can't even find that anywhere.
Right, right, right.
Cause I ain't gonna lie, I wanted it too. You know, I'm on the sticks too.
You know, I wanted it, man, but I was in a situation where I've been working so much and I haven't really even. I got a PS4 that I just recently got.
Right,
I may have had it a year, and I hardly ever
right,
get to play it because I just been on the move so much. So
right,
I was like,
right.
man, maybe next year when the price go down a little bit, I put it on my list.
Oh yeah.
But before then,
I
I
saw it
couldn't
on
make myself
Facebook.
get it.
Somebody said it'll be in the pawn shop in a couple weeks.
Or GameStop or Game Exchange or one of those. You can go in there and get it for a little or nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
man, look,
Yeah. Yeah, but
shoot, with that being
let's
said,
yeah. Yeah, let's kind of jump into it a little bit. Before we talk about the new track, I want to talk about the first I want to talk about how we met, right? Because um
oh okay.
yeah, I get the pleasure a lot of times, a lot of folks to know of just going to interview, some of anybody. I've
Right,
interviewed people like Mike Miller, of course Penny, and
right,
Wiseman, who's in the league now.
right,
Um,
right.
Layla Hathaway, which her dad's music is timeless to me. I actually made
Yeah,
a
I love
post
her.
about her dad's music
I love her
earlier
music.
today. Uh, oh, that was my one real starstruck moment too, man, because they gave me the paper and they was like, "Hey, go interview this lady," and I
Right,
read the paper and I was like, "Excuse me," I'm thinking it's a joke. It's like,
right,
uh, Layla Hathaway, and everybody was like, "Who is that?" And I
right,
was like, "Y'all out y'all mind? What is wrong with y'all?" So yeah, that was my one real
right,
starstruck moment,
right,
man. I actually need to find her and apologize because that video looked terrible. I was just so starstruck. I forgot to press record.
right, right,
That was about a week before they sent me to interview you, actually. So back to
right.
back to interviewing you, they of course they handed me this paper with like the info on it, so that I don't miss anything. It's got your spelling on your name and the name of your
Right.
track and everything is on there. Um,
Right.
and I was like, man, what's because I didn't know if the song had blown up like that. So I was like, dang,
Right.
we interviewing rappers now? Like, what's what are we doing?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
of course I
Right.
sit down with you, and absolutely one of the most insightful interviews I've ever had, and that just kind of stuck with me.
Right.
So that's
Right.
just just a little backstory about how we met, and we been in close contact ever since then.
Right.
So I don't know exactly when it was. You might remember more. I think it was around the time of um what's the big game in Memphis, the big football game? The Southern Heritage
Uh,
Classic, right? Because you performed at the
somewhere
Southern
like
Heritage
that.
Classic, right?
Right.
You
Right.
performed there, right?
Right. I performed at the Southern Heritage at the tailgate. I think Pro
So
BD
it had
gave.
to be a little bit after that because I think that's about the time the song like really took off.
Right.
Right. So it was a
Right.
little bit after that. I don't know exactly when it was, but it was somewhere around that time, like September-ish maybe.
Right.
Like I said, we've
Right.
been in close contact ever since then. So just tell me about the traction that first song got, man. That of course went viral and was just popular everywhere.
Well, I like to say it like this. That song, I considered it my baby because it was just like it's like an ode to black women,
Right.
especially like what this said out in the world, like most black women, in particular dark black women, they don't get that shine that they deserve or something like that.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
me, I mean having a wife and me having two black daughters, man. One day I was online and it was this article that I read. It was ranking black women. It was on the Huffington Post article, ranked black
Hmm.
women like the least attractive women in the world. And I kind of felt I took offense to that because I'm saying, of course, naturally, look at me, my mama
I'm
black.
taking offense to it
But when
now.
you talk about black women, man, you're not just talking about black women, you're talking about black men in particular too. There's no separating the two. And if anybody black, even a man tried to separate the two, then they got self-hate. So I had, I said, I feel like, me just how I am and who I am, I just wanted to make a response to that, not that to show that is not true. And I wanted to do it in hip hop form, not necessarily R&B or something like that, but something in hip hop form from a
Right.
man's perspective to show that, black women are, you are appreciated and that we won't let that go unnoticed. You know what I'm saying? So it's my baby. It gained a little traction. I didn't even really promote the project. Honestly, like I feel like I should have, but the guys hit me up. A guy hit me up telling me he was playing it in Boston on Twitter. This was a couple of years ago. This is all
Right.
factual. It's on my Instagram. I was shocked. Then some other
Hmm.
guy hit me up, told me he was playing it in Lagos, Nigeria. And you know what it was
Wow.
about for me? It was about what it was about. It was for City 105, Lagos, Nigeria. But what it was about for me was it was more so a humbling moment that people want to hear something productive, that people want to hear something that's gonna kind of give them the strength to keep pushing on, keep going on, keep pushing on, and keep holding on. Because at the end of the day, we all need something that's gonna uplift us and motivate us to keep us rolling
Right.
on.
Right. So just I don't know if you can gauge it or not, but how was the response amongst the black women that you interact with?
Well,
Were they really
I'll tell you
appreciative
this.
of it?
I performed it at the Holiday Inn. I think it was older track, but I didn't really promote it.
Hmm.
But I performed it at around 16, the beginning of 17. I performed it at the Holiday Inn. And it was these dark-skinned girls, man. They came up to me like 12 and 13 years. They 13 years old or something. And you never know what somebody going through. I
Right.
received like a standing ovation for it, but when they came up to me, that was like the biggest like reward because they said we never heard any artist speak that well of us before. They said that we never heard any artist just come out there and say that we are beautiful and that we are, respected in that way, and that we felt valued by that track. And keep in mind, it was a showcase that I actually performed at. But these
Uh-huh.
girls they were bad. They had Gallop and performed and good, boy. They was really good. But they
Yeah.
came right back up there with me. And that meant the world to me though.
Yeah. Yeah. That says a whole lot.
Yeah.
So what do you think that says about, I guess mainly about mainstream music? Because I mean it's pretty much impossible to hear every track out there, right? But just the mainstream is what gets pumped into your airwaves, and that's what's on the cover of your titles and your Spotify's and your iHearts and all those things. What does that say about mainstream music that
I
someone like
think it
yourself
needs.
makes a track and nobody's ever heard anything like that, or thrown
Well,
it,
I think
in
it
that direction?
needs. It shows it needs more diversity.
Yes.
Music needs more diversity. We need to hear different opinions because I fully believe that different opinions is what makes America America. Then at the same time, music is an art form, especially hip hop. It's an art form, and what makes art
Right.
really what it is the concept of being unique, creative and unique. So artists should have to artists should not have to feel like they have to conform. They should feel like they have something to bring to the table to celebrate those things that make them unique. And that is what I feel like if these is more diversity in terms of content, diversity in terms of concept, and construct. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I mean, and I think even to that point, it takes sometimes a broader mind to step outside of the box, right? Because
Right,
that's definitely outside of, the if I turn on the radio to a hip hop station, I'm not gonna hear anything like that. So to
right,
be able to take your mind and go outside of the box and make a track and put it out there, it is. I mean, I don't know what the real goal was behind it, but it seemed like just from hearing you talk, it seemed like it served the purpose you set for it.
right,
So just
right.
talk about how as a musician, as an artist, how difficult it can be to step outside of the box a little bit.
Well, you hear different things. You hear different things like people saying like you need to go about stuff this way. You need to do it this way in order to shine, and you need to sound like a million other people. You need to start off doing it like everybody else first, and then you need to go ahead and once you get your a big enough following or something like that, then you switch over and things like that. But I'm like, if it's not authentic, then why are we in it? That's my thing.
Right,
Anything you do, you should be authentically you.
right,
If you don't have if it's not authentically you, why are you doing it? That is the whole purpose of art. Art is to celebrate the authentically soundness that you have and you being authentically you and unique. That is the whole purpose of art.
right. I agree with that. All right. So speaking of art and being authentic, you're back with us again, man, with a new track. Tell us a
Right.
little bit about it.
When the concept came about, it's called "Where Were You, God?" And you know what? The crazy thing about this track is I actually wrote this song and I did record it last year, but I never released it. But
Okay.
I went, but I what happens is I went back to the studio earlier this year and brushed it up, but I wrote and recorded most of this song last year. And I had no clue that the world would be like it is this year.
On fire. On
Yeah,
fire.
I didn't have any clue. And what happened was I went to the like I said that when I was writing this song, I was coming from a concept of the concept that I was coming from in relation to God. It's like many of us, because I myself have asked it too. Because I've dealt with a lot of tragedies. I've
Yeah.
had a lot of close family members die. I see them basically deteriorate. And I reached the point where I kind of was just looking into myself and I was like, okay, is this really real? And if you're real, why would you let them go that route? Why would you let them basically deteriorate to where you can see cancer eating them up, so you can see their bones and things of that nature, them throwing up
Right.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I went through that process, man. I went through that pain. And
You had questions. You had real questions.
yeah, I had authentic questions, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I felt like, why would this really happen to good people? And then, to be honest, I read the book of Job, right? And Job gave me some insight. It was the book of Job that gave me to some insight. Like some basically the book of Job says sometimes good things happen to bad things happen to good people. and
Right.
how the enemy will come against you, and it will look like you're about to lose everything, and you will get frustrated, you would get tired, you would get like down and feel like you're mad at the world, mad at everybody, mad at the universe. You know what I'm saying? Itself, mad at life in general.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening when I constructed the song was about, I put humanity. It was two concepts behind it.
Okay.
Humanity in verse 1, and as well as black people, all in verse 1. This is humanity and black people represented as one in verse 1,
Right.
having a dialogue with the Most High. Because as we know, we got the coronavirus going on
Mm-hmm.
that has affected the whole world, not just black people. We got different scenarios going on, like people that have just been dying and getting killed. We got hunger going on all across the world, affecting
Right.
all of humanity, not just black people. But we also have these incidents of racism, and as we know, uh, the Bible, they tried to misuse the Bible in slavery and make it and use it as a weapon against black people. So the concept was to really go in depth regarding it, because once I did my own individual study, and I found out that the Bible was already in Africa
Yeah.
long before colonialism, long before
Before
Islam,
they got there.
before they got there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
Right. That's true.
you know, and I did my own study. You know, Ethiopia actually used Christianity, the original form, to help unite their nation. You know what I'm saying? As
Okay.
well as the
That's right.
Axum, the kingdom of Axum. In the
Yeah.
first century, they used it to unite their nation. So it was a lot of benefits and great things that never get magnified about that. And I said, okay, I guess I took it like truth is like a gun. It's not the gun fault when somebody goes and kills somebody with it. It is not the gun fault if somebody runs in your house and you got to use that gun to protect yourself. See,
Right.
truth is it's just like a gun. It's just a matter of the individual. You get what I'm saying?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
that was the concept behind it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where I gleaned from that, you know. To show, I guess it was to really show that the Most High is still working with us, and
Mm-hmm.
that he has not left us, you know, through it all. He has not left us. We all
Yeah.
we have our struggles, and we're gonna have our struggles, but through it all, he has not left us. You know, if anybody has done their studies of Jesus, like the original Jesus, even through the Bible gives you it gives you pieces of Jesus, right? For example, right? If you're in the neighborhood, right, you know this. A lot of black people in the inner city, we've had our struggles. We were unfair targets of law enforcement. So
Absolutely.
was
Still
Jesus.
are.
He
A lot
was
of
an
them still are.
unfair, yeah. And so was Jesus. He was an unfair target of law enforcement, of his era. If you do the study of it, not even that, it was a time too, Jesus got into what John Lewis called good trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
Dr. King, he mentioned too about getting into good trouble. Jesus, if we studied the Bible, he got into a lot of good trouble. Like, a lot of us in the hood, we probably got into the wrong kind of trouble, and we were fugitives, right? Some of us were
Right.
fugitives from the law. If you read the Bible, Jesus was once a fugitive from the law. When he healed Lazarus, Lazarus came from the dead. It's important that it says that Jesus did not appear openly anymore among the public once it was said that they were out to kill him. So Jesus, it's a lot of similarities. Even to where the slaves we were beat, we took 40 lashes. They took Jesus and they put him before they even put him on the cross.
Right.
They gave him 40 lashes, and they attached the ball with the spikes on it and whipped him across his back. And then what happens is when they pull it back, it rips off your flesh.
Correct.
So, and then when they killed, not only that, the whole concept of the crucifixion, when they put him on the cross using wood, that is where ancient sources say the concept of lynching even came from. Because it says, cursed is the man that dies by a tree.
Right.
So it's a lot of when you start reading and studying and how Jesus was actually, even in the Bible, what happens was people got mad if you look at it because he was affecting money. They used the when he said I am the son of God, they used it. They didn't really care about it, but they used it
Right.
as a reason to kill it.
Yeah.
Because if you study it, it says that, I think, what was it? I ain't getting preachy, but I'm really just
It's all
reaching
good.
people with it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Caiaphas, I think the guy Caiaphas, who has been confirmed to be historical, and Nicodemus was confirmed to be historical too, and Pilate. But Caiaphas said that it is better for one man to die for the people than for our place and our honor and our dignity to be taken away from us. What he was really talking about was their position of power and money. Because Jesus Christ was affected, he was teaching people that God is outward, but he's also, the kingdom of heaven is also inward too. That the kingdom of heaven could be within you too.
Right.
And this was affecting money supply because people felt like it was a threat to the establishment at the temple. And the original, most of the original teachers said that the reason why Jesus ended up killed is when he came to the temple and he saw how the people were being misled and saw how the people were being cheated out of their hard-earned money.
Is that where he flipped?
Yeah, he
Is that where he
whooped
flipped
them.
tables over?
He took the whip out. And he said, y'all made my father's house a den of robbers. Yeah, man, because some of those people, all they had would have been a chicken or a cow, and they had to trade it. It was for the temple tax. And Jesus basically saw that they were being robbed, man. And he just got angry and upset, as any righteous person would be when they see a lot of people misusing religion as a way to rob people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because even Jesus in his day, even as a practicing Jew, he was against Orthodox religion at that time because the Pharisees used religion as a way to profit off of the people.
Right.
They were using it as a way to profit off of the people, and we see it still going on in different ways.
Yeah. So just real quick, I want to talk about the actual title of the song, because of course you're having a conversation, right? And growing up in the South, asking any kind of questions towards the Almighty is frowned upon, right? So just talk a little bit about that, because it's kind of going out on a limb, if for us in the South.
Right. Well, as far as when we ask the questions concerning the Almighty, I think even biblically it say like you can speak and you can have questions. That's your human nature.
Right.
That is human nature. So questions only lead the way to a better understanding. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. Absolutely. 1000%.
Yeah. So the concept came behind like, let's really download. We've been hurt by slavery. We've been hurt by war, division, destruction. You name it, you can claim it all over.
All of it.
All of it. So we just want a conversation regarding this. So it's just, if we wanted to reach out. That's what the whole concept was about. It's about reaching out and to have this dialogue. Like, let's just say the proverbial conversation of what would be said if God did answer back. If we spoke to God and he answered back.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't consider myself as religious, right? Like, I don't really practice. I don't practice any kind of religion at all. I still believe that there's some kind of a power within the cosmos, even if the cosmos is the power itself. So I ask these questions all the time, and I ask them, like, I don't do any religion, so I don't necessarily care exactly what's on the other side of the question, but I'm going to ask the question. So to hear, and I think that's where a lot of us should meet, no matter the religion, no matter what you believe. Like, we should all try to work together to find the answer to these questions. Like, I want to know, like, my question is 400 years of slavery. Like, at what point, does a lightning bolt come down and hit a slave master and, and free some chains open?
You know what? What if I told you this though? What if I told you this? God giving us all with it, it's a certain instinct that you born with. You're born to be free.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, it's he's giving you that sense to know that you were born to be free. That you were born, for example, right? When we're born, we almost have an innate knowledge when we look at the sky that somebody put that up there, right? Somebody did something here.
Right.
Somebody may
Yeah,
have done something.
that's
I
kind of
can't
innate.
explain who it is or what, right?
Correct.
And we are also born with an innate knowledge, right? That we are different than the animals. We're born with that, like a different. We're born like for example, if you take a stick and you throw it, a dog, his natural instinct takes over, and he
Going
goes
to
to
the stick.
fetch that stick.
Right.
We're born knowing that we don't have to do that. We don't move off of simply instinct. We're free
That's right.
from that type of slavery. So with that being said, since we're born with the knowledge that we're free from that kind of slavery, right? Then we automatically know, as the Bible it says actually in the Bible where God's law conflicts with man's law, we ought to go with God's law. And I think Jesus has kind of made an example of that when he talked about the Good Samaritan, right? And in the paragraph in the story of the Good Samaritan, it's one of the most anti-prejudice teachers ever. He said that a man was walking, this man get robbed, right? The man is laying on the side of the road, he's hurt real bad. A preacher walked by of the same nation of the man, he keeps right on going. Then another man, I think a Levite or something, walks by. And they walk and leave the man still hurt. But a Samaritan, a man from another nation. See, prejudice of that era was not about color, it was about nation.
Correct.
But the point Jesus made, it was a man from a different nation that grabbed this man and he took this man to the inn and he fixed his bandages, and then he told the innkeeper, I'm gonna pay for his stay and his care. Then he asked his disciples, he said, who then was that man's neighbor? The disciples the disciples rightfully said the man that did the will of God. In other words, who then was that man's friend? So therefore, if we came across a group of people claiming to be Christians, but they didn't do and act like that Samaritan did, we know they ain't Christians. We know they ain't nowhere affiliated with Christ because they would have did as Christ taught them.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's one of the things I struggle with too, man, because I just don't understand how all of this money flowing around. I mean, there's trillions of dollars flowing around, right? You know, they're about to pass another $900 billion stimulus package in probably in a few days, hopefully for some people. You know, I'm fine. But I know people need it. But there's still
these guys
homelessness out
claim
there.
to be Christian.
And you know, the majority of that is going to people that claim to be Christians. The majority of the money is spent by people claiming to be Christians. And there's still, you go downtown Memphis, and it's just it's getting worse. The homelessness is getting worse from what I see. You know, and that's not to be bragging on myself, but you know, Christmas, I think it was Christmas Eve, man. And I'll tell you backstory on my financial situation in a second, but I didn't have a lot of money, but I spent about $30 and took the homeless folks downtown pizza.
And you know what? And you know what? You're doing more so what Christ would want than some of these people calling themselves Christians. See, that's the point. That's what Christ was all about. You don't have to say it.
Epidemic.
It's about what you're doing. It's about what you're doing.
Yeah. But I mean, backstory on me, man. I messed around. I don't even have access to my account right now. I messed around and lost my wallet, man, last weekend. So I'm running around with, you know, penny change here and penny change there, just to, you know, survive until I can get situated. But you know, that's kind of how that happened. But you know, it's just that was always one of my biggest questions, especially we can just look at Memphis, right? Like I don't know what goes on in Chicago or Atlanta. I'm not in those cities. But there's a lot of money flowing around Memphis. You know, they just struck a deal for this big project on Union Avenue. You know, we all know the money that flows through towns like Collierville and Germantown. But there's just still so many homeless people, man, and it just, to me, it doesn't make sense.
It don't make sense. It don't make sense. I'll give an example of something, right? A lot of people try to say that the Bible and Christ was concerned about strictly the hereafter, right?
Right.
And just so it's always been said that the church was told the dream of the pie in the sky. But
Yeah.
if you read right, some of Christ's teachings, Christ said that your heavenly Father knows you got need of these things that are in the world, so He would take care of you. And an example of what happened after Christ died, it was a government. These folks, it said that the people brought money at the apostles' feet, right? And that the apostles dispensed land and everything that the people needed. This is at the beginning of the Acts. See, the people had clothes, they dispensed land and everything that they needed. And it says verbatimly in the book of Acts that nobody was without want. Nobody had any want.
Right.
So this was more than just a spiritual movement. It was a government too. And that everybody took initially after Christ died, everybody took care of each other.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that we do that a lot of times, and somebody prominent dies and we try to, do the right thing by that person, because for some reason we celebrate death a lot more than we celebrate life. And again, that part also I don't understand.
Right.
So just back to your songs, is there a particular part of the song that like sticks out more to you?
Well, what sticks out about the song is, in particular, where I really went into about the very fact that they try to obscure Africa's place in history.
You're right.
Right in the very Bible, it teaches you that the Garden of Eden was initially in Cush. Cush was always a code name for Ethiopia, Eritrea, and also a code name also for Sudan, because all of those are in the same area.
That was all Ethiopia, right?
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they try to obscure that, in history. So that's what even science says that the oldest bones were found in that area. I don't care if so the Bible is saying, so basically it's saying whether you believe in creationism or evolution.
Either way.
Whether in a way, because I'm not gonna really I'm not the one to try to persuade anybody like that, but whether you go through creationism or evolution, whether you go back 10,000 years ago or millions of years ago, it started in Africa. That's what the Bible is agreeing. Science and the Bible agree.
Right.
And it also agrees that regardless of what happened, it started in Africa. That was its origin. Humanity's origin.
Either way, everything says that.
Everything. So there's no way that we can sidescape Africa. All the Europeans that live in Europe, they're actually African Europeans.
Correct.
They're African Europeans. You get what I'm saying? Because they originally started among us too.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, look, we've got a small audience still. I want you to, before they may hop off or something, tell them where they can find your song. Before I just thought about that.
You know what? You can find this record. It's everywhere on the internet. It's on Spotify. They just recently started spinning it on Shade 45. The video will be out this week. Man, like I said, Shade 45, Spotify title. You don't have nothing to do but you can just simply Google it, man, and you can find it, But one thing about this song,
and I know it's on your YouTube page too, right?
The song, I think it is, yeah.
The song, I actually just played it off your YouTube page. It's on there.
Right, yeah, it's on there. But yeah, man, basically the song is saying whether you agree with science or the Bible and science actually agree in some way.
Absolutely.
In some areas. Yeah. So it started in Africa. And therefore, if God started his work in Africa, he would never be an advocate for white supremacy.
Yeah. I think that for hardcore religious people, sometimes for some reason they thought that science was the void of religion, and that's not the case at all.
No.
Yeah, that's not the case at all. I don't understand how they came about.
Science was never the enemy of religion.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think that a lot of people made it that way because they feared that the way they believe would be disproven. Um,
no,
so
no.
they automatically kind of cast science to the side. But no, man, science is not devoid of religion at all.
I'm gonna tell you something I learned that kind of blew my mind, right? You know, this was my first daughter when my wife was pregnant with my first daughter, right? I said that we was going to these classes and they mentioned something about the mucus plug. And they
Oh,
said that the mucus plug is in the woman to prevent children from having a lot of diseases that they normally would have been born with.
right.
Now I said, don't you think that is something to really ponder that you are created with something like that in you? To be created with something like that in you is a very sign that someone designed you to carry life. And they knew that if you were designed to carry life, this life could get sick. And I may not want it to get sick like this. So I'm gonna give you something to kind of stop a lot of it. Now I'm not gonna say it stops all of it, but the fact that you have it. And then the fact that we have something called a genetic code. Who makes a code, man? Who locks up a code? You got information in your body. You are a computer. Your brain, your very brain is like a computer, man. You got nerves. That's the wires.
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
It's
come
kind of
on, man.
once
So
you
your
really
body,
like,
you are living science. You are science.
yeah,
Science describes the
absolutely,
processes by
absolutely.
which
Yeah,
God did things. That describes the process.
and once you really like really just sit back and think about how we're wired and how we're put together. You know, our bodies are symmetrical and all that stuff, man.
Right,
It's a whole lot to kind of take in, and you realize that something I don't like to call whatever's out there a person, so I'll never say
right.
somebody or him or her. But something
Some
thought
intellect or
very
something.
very
Some
carefully
intellect.
about how we're put together, how even the animals are put together,
Right.
even how we take in and give out, you know, take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. The trees take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen.
Right.
You know,
Because
there's a whole lot to that.
I told a guy, I said this, I said, if we evolved by random evolution, right? Just random evolution, we would have been created. We would have eventually came into being, right? But the atmosphere would have, like the air, would have choked us because it would have been toxic. The
Correct.
water would have been poison, and we would have
Right.
died from drinking water because it would have been toxic.
Yeah.
But it seems like this atmosphere was already created to be suitable before we were even created. And then once we were created, we could then live in this atmosphere. It's like this atmosphere was designed before we were, so it would be suitable for us. And that matches somewhere in Isaiah where it says, I, the Lord, formed the world, and I created it to be inhabited.
Right.
It does match that right there. But, you know, I'm saying somebody did something or someone or
Right.
something, you know.
Right.
And when we look at that like that, and we think like that, like how everything just kind of goes together. It really
Yeah. I
goes
mean,
together. We can't fully explain it,
no,
you know.
and we'll never be able to because we're not. I don't think that our minds and our bodies are capable of grasping that type of understanding because it's just not. It's
Right.
not meant for us to understand.
We can't think about it. If you know, if we define him as he would, if I'm just gonna say he would say he was
That's fine.
defining the
Yeah.
body, or he created it, and this is science before we even knew a science.
It was
So
all.
this is
Everything was here
something
in the
way more
beginning.
advanced than we know.
Yeah. Everything was here in the beginning.
Exactly. And the body is almost like a car. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like a car in a sense. Like, you know, your body, a car needs oil, it needs gasoline.
Absolutely.
We
Fuel.
need
Yeah.
we need water,
Yeah.
we need air, it's a vehicle. It's a machine.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I when I'm a lot of times when I'm explaining fitness to people, I use a car as my analogy. When people
Right.
are trying to, you know, get on a weight loss journey, I use a car as an analogy. I've always done that.
I do too. When I work out, I said this is a machine. I said what you see is a machine. And it's like in a machine, you gotta keep it up to keep it in order.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, I always tell people it's like I always tell people that if you put gas in a car in the morning to start your day, let's just say you work an 8 hour day. Then you drive your car throughout the day, right? That's your fuel. And by the time you're at home, you've driven most of the gas out. You've used
Right,
it for what you need to get through the day, and you've driven most
right,
of it out. There's no excess gas. But
right.
That's the equivalent of eating breakfast, right? You eat breakfast at the right time, you go throughout the rest of your day, and you burn off that food for your energy, and you don't store it up as much. Now, if
Right,
you put that same amount of gas in late at night, well, when you get up in the morning, the gas is
right,
still there. You stored that gas
right.
up, and it's the same way with food. If you put that food in your body late at night, then you're gonna store it up, and it's gonna become fat. So that's I've always used that
Right,
analogy to try to describe like
right.
weight
So I
loss. So
told
it's
you we
funny you
think alike.
mentioned that because I've always used that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but this is like this is exactly what I say when I work out. I said, man, this is what we have going is nothing more than it's a machine, man, and we gotta kind of keep it together, keep the parts of it running and keep it together. So we have to do that by what we eat and what we do, by working out and
Mm,
and what trying to eat right as best we can. And that's
right.
what we have even with coronavirus. Like we got to take a lot of vitamin D. We got to keep the machine rolling. You know what I'm saying? As much as we can.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah. Health is always optimal, man. Listen, people don't drink water. Some of these people out here are not washing hands. Like it's your body. You
Man,
gotta. What are you doing? You gotta take care of it.
yeah, I mean, we should have been. I would have thought we would have did it anyway beforehand, but I'm just saying,
Now you know these
you
people
know,
ain't washing no hands out here.
yeah,
And then when
you
you see them, the
know,
first thing they gonna do is, they gonna do this right
I
here.
want to shake your hand. You
What are
got
you
to hit
doing?
them
Why
with
you
the
doing
peace
this to me?
sign. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
Elbow.
people.
Yeah,
The elbow, and that's a
So
light touch right there.
man,
Don't
that's
touch
what
it
I'm saying. So
more than
we
a
gotta
second.
we gotta stay. We gotta keep this machine rolling, man, and
Right,
keep it
right.
up to par. Because the parts do
Yeah,
break down, and that's what we have called sickness.
absolutely,
You know.
absolutely. So, is there any more music coming behind the "Where Were You God" track? Are there more tracks or?
Well, like I said, the video will be out.
That's right. Y'all shot the
It's
video
going to
this
be
week,
some
right?
more music. The video will be out by the end of this week. I was in the video, played myself. It's courtesy of Preacher Tim too. Got to get that guy, the guy that sung on the hook. Got to give him his full credit, man. I love that
He
guy.
did a
How he
really
put
good
it
job.
down.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and it should be out. The video will be out this week. I also come as myself represent humanity, and I also put in the cameo as Black Jesus too.
I saw that still you
So
posted. And you know how people you know how people are about that. Did you get any feedback on that?
yeah, man, I got a lot of good feedback, man. First of all,
Good.
and some people might, I don't know if somebody will take that the other way, but why would you? Jesus was a human being. He was a, he
You
was a
know,
human being that walked the earth. He was human, even though he was God in flesh. He was human.
I
He
remember
wasn't human, you
I
know.
remember several years ago when Black Youngster uh did a picture, not anywhere near like what you did, but he really redid the Tupacalypse picture. You remember that
Yeah,
Black Youngster when he was on
yeah.
the cross and people were
Right.
just livid about it. I was like, y'all read your history. Like you gotta read.
Yeah,
You
you
gotta
gotta
read.
read, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus called himself Son of Man more than he ever did the Son of God. Son of
Yeah.
Man had two meanings. It was a deity meaning, a meaning for deity, but it also meant human being too.
Right.
And Jesus kind of he 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 emphasized it a lot, you know. So
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
you
So
know,
what was shooting the video like? Was this your first video?
yeah, it was my first one. Yeah,
How was that?
it was fun. I had a whole lot of fun, man. Y'all,
Yeah, that's good.
my wife, she gonna be in it too. I'm throwing her on the spot though.
She
She
got
in
the
the room.
cameo?
Yeah, she did a little cameo. But we had fun, man. And you know what? I'm gonna be real about this. You know what I'm saying? I love to do this because I love to have fun and I love to
Right.
create something that's gonna be beneficial to people. You know what I'm saying? That be
Correct.
helpful. But I have fun doing it and I enjoy doing it too. You
That's
know?
hey, that should be anything you do.
Right, right.
That should be anything you do. And I know that uh we all work our 9 to 5s, right? And sometimes our career
Right,
paths and our 9 to 5s don't really align. But
right,
man, you gotta have those things outside of this that you really enjoy. And
right. And
if you
that's the
don't,
same with me, man.
you are caught in a circle that will take you down mentally so fast.
Right, right. So we gotta find those things that are our gifts and enjoy ourselves with and have fun doing it. And at the
Right.
same time, use it to make a positive and productive impact. We got enough impacts going on in the world that's just not
Man,
positive nor productive. So we
absolutely,
gotta change
absolutely.
that tide. And I think that's what when Christ and Jesus was talking about the kingdom of heaven is within you, he was saying that you have the ability to be a difference maker. I've given you that ability to be a difference maker. So we have to strive to do that to be a difference maker in our lives personally, the lives of those around us. And also be willing to come together with people who may think differently in some ways and understand we're not all that different. We're not all
No,
that different.
no.
And
And
anything
I
that we
always say
do is
that,
an act of love.
yeah,
Trust me,
you,
when
you got,
love wins, God will always win.
yeah, and that's what I always tell people. You got to find the similarities, man. We
Yeah,
focus so much on differences, with
yeah,
what this person is wearing versus what I'm wearing, what they believe versus
yeah,
what I believe.
yeah,
I
yeah.
ain't got. I look. What are
Yeah.
we liking? I try to. A lot of
No,
times for me,
yeah,
because for me, meeting 100 people in a day is no problem, right? Because I work in
right,
retail and in news. So a
right,
lot of times the quickest way for me to relate to somebody is what team do you root for, right? So if somebody comes
right,
through my
right,
line and they're like a Mississippi State fan, I went to Ole Miss. I give
right,
them such a hard time. Like we go at it, right? But for 30
right.
seconds I'm making jokes and then it's like, hey, we cool. Here's your receipt. Have a good
But
day.
but that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all
Right,
about.
right, right,
That's
right.
what it's all about. Differences was always created, though. Differences
Oh
were to
yeah,
be appreciated. You know,
for sure.
the Most High, whoever, Most High, when He created the world, He made white people, black people, orange people, yellow people,
The,
everybody.
the, the big
He made
mix.
it like a garden, man. Well, that's to be
The big mix.
appreciated, man. It's to be appreciated,
Yeah.
not to be, how we have done as humanity when we put the
Right.
race
And
classification on everything. When
absolutely.
we,
And
when we,
us, like the cultural differences are so like strong, right? Like I
right,
was blown away with the first time I went to a non-black funeral. Like to me that was the
right,
biggest like culture shock. And then going to Ole Miss was a huge culture shock too. But
right,
us, we laugh at our culture. Like we we
right,
always have fun with the things that that we might do, whether it's just something as simple as going to a barbershop.
right,
Just whatever, playing ball, like the things that we had to do growing up. Uh,
right,
those things, we pick fun at ourselves about, but I don't think
right,
we ever. A lot of times, we don't really mesh them in as much as we possibly could.
right,
Um, we used to always make the joke. We got a producer that's like the whitest of white guys, man. Cool guy though. But we was like, man,
right,
we're gonna take you to a black barbershop because he used to always try to do like the black dances.
right,
Like,
right,
no, you can't do that until you go to this black barbershop. Let's do that first.
right,
Uh, but I just think that as a society, we could absolutely come together over some differences, even the similarities for
right.
sure, but even over some differences. Everything ain't got to be a fight.
Man, I know, right?
Everything got to be
I
a
know,
fight. And I
right?
know I'm I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because Tiffany is on right now, and we go with each other all the time, just political, whatever the talk might be out there at the time. But it's all love in the end. I think that's what it has
Right.
to be.
That's what it should be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. We should be able to kind of sometimes speak to each other, and we may have our differences, but as long
Right.
differences only show that you're real for what. It
Right,
only
for
shows
sure.
that
Yeah,
you're
because
real.
everybody, you can't agree on everything.
Yeah. You can't agree on everything. But when you can come together in spite of your differences, and where you can learn to appreciate your differences, because sometimes your differences can be a strength. And if your
Absolutely.
difference is a strength,
Absolutely.
then I may need that strength. You get
Absolutely.
what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
Whereas my difference could be my strength. And it's an
Right.
area you would be stronger in. Then you can use my strength. That's what it's all about. It's all about each one helping the other. And then
Each
we're
one, each
interdependent
each,
on
each
each
one
other.
teach one. I believe in that wholeheartedly.
Exactly. Iron
Each one
sharpens
teach
iron.
one. Absolutely. Well, look,
You
I'm gonna
know,
get you out of here with this, man. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience that maybe I didn't think to ask? I know I don't always ask, the
it's all
the,
good,
the
man.
most
Look,
questions, but
hey, you know what? What I would say is this, though. It's been a pleasure to be on this platform with you. It's always a
always,
pleasure to talk to you.
always.
It's always a pleasure when we get up, man. And we definitely gonna get up a little bit more. As soon as this COVID stuff out, man, we gonna
Man,
get
listen,
up,
let me
man.
tell you, I'm so ready. how you feel about the vaccine? Because I mean, I'm kind of desperate right
Oh
now.
Lord, you know what? I
I'm
had some
desperate,
family
brother.
that
Hey,
took
come
it.
on,
I
come
had some
on.
family that had to take it, but I'm really watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm really watching with
Yeah,
them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure.
Because it's a bad situation that we in because the COVID is really ripping through. Uh,
And
it's ripping through our
it ain't getting
community. We
better.
lost a brother that go went to church with us too to COVID,
Yeah, I'm
and
sorry to hear that.
yeah, but so it's a catch-22. To be honest about it, it's a catch-22. The vaccine, of course, we know we don't. It's a lot of unknowns with it.
Correct.
Uh, but we do know that COVID is killing people too at the same time. Uh, but when it comes to elders, you know, I feel like they should be kind of cautious when it comes to the vaccine or something like that.
Right.
But then, you know, they're not going to have any kids or something like that too. You know, when you're older, so you should take that into account. When it comes to us, you know, I think that's up to the individual. I think
Right.
that's really
Yeah,
up to the
it has to
individual.
be.
But one thing I can say, and this is what I do. I can only say what I do. I take a whole lot of vitamin D. I take 5,000 to 10,000 milligrams of vitamin D per day. I got the bottle, the D3 bottle with
Hmm.
I think it has 1,000. It's 1,000 per milligram, 1,000 per pill or something like that. And
Hmm.
I take a lot of zinc. I
Yeah,
take a whole
gotta
lot
have
of
it.
zinc, vitamin C, alkaline water. You know, that's pretty much what I do. And I got to get back to exercising. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, that's
that's pretty
important
much
too.
what I do. You know.
Yeah, I mean myself, I've been watching it closely. Of course, I'm legitimately on the vaccine beat at work. That's what we do pretty much every day. We do a
Right.
vaccine story. So I'm watching it closely.
Right.
From so far from what I've seen, it's okay. I got a homeboy out in Dallas. He took it, and he's updating daily with like a vlog he does. You can find him on my Facebook, Fred Moore. I
Right.
shared his post this first day he did it. But I mean, outside of a few little side effects here and there, man, it seems like it's doing okay. Uh, I'm pretty sure it's like it's not 100% foolproof. Like I've never taken a flu shot. I've never taken
Right.
a flu shot. So
Boy,
of
you know
course
what?
I'm weary about it in
I
that
took that a
sense.
long time ago. I took it a
It sounds
long
like you
time
didn't take
ago.
any more of them.
Man, I didn't like that at all. You know, but I
Right.
will say about the vaccine though. I'm gonna be honest about this. Now, I'm gonna think of it like I'm gonna say it like this. I got two relatives that took it though.
Uh-huh.
Well, three relatives. I got three relatives, and I can say thus far they are doing pretty good.
Okay.
You know,
So you got three that's taking it, and they're all doing good.
yeah, because they work in the healthcare field.
Yeah, yeah.
I
My
got
sister's in
a
healthcare
aunt.
too, and she hasn't taken it yet.
Yeah, they're like I got an aunt in Texas.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law here, she took it. And I also have a cousin that took it. So
Uh-huh.
from what I can see, you know, they're all doing well, doing pretty good. So that's the only thing I have to go on with it. You
Same
know,
here.
so
Same here. I'm just hey, it's
what
word
I'm
of
and
mouth at
what
this
I'm
point.
looking at is we know Corona is killing us. Well, that's a fact. We know what it's doing. We can see what it's doing.
Undoubtedly.
So I feel like we should uh we should choose wisely. We should choose wisely because the only thing I will say in favor of the vaccine is we have not heard any death from it, you know,
Yeah, I
but
haven't heard of any deaths. I think the only thing I
yeah, I
heard
haven't
of
heard any death, you know, I've heard about some adverse reactions,
yeah, I think a lady in
something like
Alaska
that.
had like an anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, but I've seen a lot more people, seems to be a lot more people still making it, and doing well in spite,
Yeah.
after
My
they
my
take
only
the shot.
concern, my only concern is that there's so many vaccines out there now. The first one was Pfizer, there's a Moderna. Johnson and Johnson is coming out with theirs pretty
I think
soon. And then
Moderna probably be the best.
that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard too. Then there's one more coming behind the Moderna, I mean the Johnson and Johnson. I forgot the name of it. Now the
Right.
Johnson and Johnson it's going to be one dose. All the rest of them I think have two doses, but the Johnson and Johnson is
Oh,
supposed to
really?
have one dose.
Well, see, I mean, I think they gave you two doses to be on the safe side
Right,
instead of giving you one dose to with all of it in there because they don't know how your body would take
right,
all of it in one time,
right.
you
Yeah.
know. But I think the doses only cover you. I think they only cover you per month.
Right.
a
Something
dose a
like that.
month.
They have to go
Yeah.
back in 3 weeks and take it again.
Yeah, so we almost gonna be going every month to take a dose of that if you did go get it or something like that. Man, it's like, Lord
Whew.
have mercy.
Right.
You know, that's something.
Well, Paul, I'm gonna get up here, man. I guess and figure out what's rest for today. Maybe find me a little bit of dinner. Won't be a whole lot, and probably
Right,
go and do a little clanging and banging a little later on. So
right.
yeah, the chat has been great, man. It's always good talking to you.
Always, my brother. I'm finna get out here and go give me a little something to eat it.
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
get to
talking
working
about.
out later on.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
putting
do
up these
something, man.
kids' toys.
I gotta do it before it gets too late,
Right.
and I gotta get a haircut too. But that's a different discussion.
Shoot. Man, look, I got one too, but I've been outside kind of working on this stuff with these kids, man. Trying to get their stuff up, trying to get them ready and stuff because one of them want me to put a basketball goal up. So I'm gonna
About
go
that
get it
time.
on up today. Yeah.
Don't let them beat you.
She won't be a
Don't
hooper.
let
I
them
said,
beat you.
okay. Oh, yeah. But I ain't gonna hold you too much, man. I really enjoyed this.
Oh
Thank
yeah,
you for this
absolutely.
opportunity.
We'll do it again soon, man.
All right. That's what's
All right,
up.
man. Good talking to you.
All right.
Peace.
All right.